Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman here with Emily Robinson on the Life After D podcast. We're here on the eve of the election 2020. As you can see on my stickers in the background, I'm so nervous, Emily.
I know, me too. I think everybody is. It's hard to focus today and concentrate, and I think everybody's really nervous. It's a big day. Tomorrow will be worse, but today everybody's nervous and trying to get their ballots in last minute beforehand. Like me, I gotta go drop mine off.
Tomorrow the lawyers are supposed to get involved. So
I heard that.
So yeah, this has nothing to do with divorce right now. So let's kind of go. I don't know how does voting relate? Like I know like in laws and maybe tax laws, there was one passed about alimony but as far as voting, there hasn't been, like, I looked at the propositions because I did the early voting, and I don't know if we could tie it in. Like there was not much, maybe job loss but
Here's how you can tie it in. If the spouses are voting for different people, that could be a recipe for a disaster in a marriage.
Yep, families are divided. Like there's people who like their families don't talk right now. Like it's really it's kind of a weird time. So with that, let's get into some divorce news today. So on this part of the show, we're gonna go over what's going on, like on Google with divorce. A lot of the times we run into celebrity news, see with like the pandemic, there's a lot of things coming up. So today, out of all the places, Fox News reports Cardi B files to dismiss divorce from husband
really?
Offset. Yeah, okay, so let's see. Well, this is from Fox News. I think they got it from TMZ. Cardi B is reportedly called out for divorce from Offset. According to TMZ, the WAP rapper filed documents Monday in Georgia to dismiss the divorce without prejudice. She originally filed for divorce in September. At the time, the 27-year-old Grammy winner shared she was seeking to legally part ways from the Migos MC28 because they were having heated arguments as of late. I wanted to let y'all know I have shed not one tear, Cardi told her fans on Instagram Live. In the video, she spoke to her followers candidly and admitted she has cried over her husband's past cheating scandals, but was adamant that previous or current infidelity was not a factor in her decision to separate.
Wow. Well, people change their minds, and sometimes it just like actually pulling the trigger and filing those papers causes people to realize, okay, this is real, and they do whatever it takes to fix the relationship. I mean, I see that happen. So, it's not that surprising. People reconcile a lot, which is nice. I mean, I think it's good. Hopefully it works out.
It's like she, like on divorce, she like wanted a refund. It's like, I know Apple has a 14-day thing for the iPhone. Like if you don't like it, you can bring it back in 14 days. This kind of like was like that. She had like buyer's remorse.
Except you don't get your money back.
Oh yeah, the attorney's like, no, it's final sale.
And the court's not like, hey, here's your filing fees back.
Okay.
You kind of stuck with that.
Okay. Oh, okay. This is interesting. So Jennifer Meyer filed for divorce from Tobey Maguire 4 years after split. Yeah, this is what happened to Tobey Maguire? He was Spider-Man for a long time. Okay.
He's been gone a while.
Yeah. Okay. So 4 years after splitting, Meyer filed for divorce from the actor on Wednesday. People confirmed. In October 2016, a source told People that the couple had been living separate lives for a while. They've been completely, they have completely different interests and haven't seemed to be connecting, the insider said. At the time, he's extremely private and prefers to stay home, and she's very social and has a ton of girlfriends. They haven't been happy together for a long time, the source continued, but they are great parents and they love their children. Meyer, 43, McGuire, 45, share 11-year-old son, Otis, and 13-year-old daughter, Ruby. Did you see the movie? I think it's like Molly's Game, where they did the poker movie. No?
I don't think I saw that one.
I think
But
that
I've
was like
seen
the
Spider-Man.
beginning. I think so. There's this poker thing going on in Hollywood, like with Leonardo DiCaprio, him, and all these stars like Ben Affleck. And if you see the movie, it's on Netflix. It came out. I mean, I want to say 5 years ago, and that like was, I think, his demise. Like he was on like Spider-Man. He's like on top of the world, and I think they don't say it's Tobey Maguire in the movie, but if you like deep dive, because I Googled it and I deep dived, and like that was his demise. Like, and so I think now is like, so it said here in 16, and so does that happen where like they just kind of let the marriage fade? Like,
Well, I think it does happen a lot. People end up just like living apart and doing sort of like a trial separation. And then maybe you never get around to actually filing, or, you know, you just wait until you're sure this is what you want and then you file. But I do see that happen a lot. Like you have a long separation, and I really think it may just be that people aren't sure if they want the divorce, and they may not be sure for a few years. But it can lead to date of separation arguments where people fight about what day did they actually separate and how many years have they actually been separated for, because that affects how you divide the assets.
okay. All right, this is an interesting one. We touched on this last week. TMZ reports ex Real Housewives of New York star Jules gets $7K per month in support. Divorce is finalized. Former Housewives of New York star Jules Weinstein is getting sole legal custody of her two kids and just over $7,000 in combined child and spouse support. Now that her divorce is a done deal, Jules and ex-hubby Michael Weinstein got the judge's final stamp on their divorce back in September, and the judgment spells out the details of split, including the custody arrangement for the two kids, 10-year-old Jagger, David, and 7-year-old Islo Rio. According to the docs obtained by TMZ, Jules will get 4,133 and 33 cents in spousal support for the next few years. Very specific.
Wow.
Once 33 cents. She'll also get $3,000 per month in child support, even though her ex will have parenting time. Jules gets final say on where the kids go to school and what religion they'll be raised in. So how do they? So they figure it out. Like they calculate it. There's a formula, right?
Right. For child support, spousal support's a little bit more discretionary to the judge, but it's interesting. You don't that commonly see one parent having decision-making power over religion and school. That usually only happens either by agreement or because there is a lot of tension and it's really ugly, and the court really has no choice but to choose one parent to make those decisions. So that's interesting because we don't see that much. Usually it's a joint decision.
Okay. Let's see if we have any more gossip. Oh no, it's like a slow day. I think the news cycle is focused on something else. So in this part of the show, we're gonna go over posts people put online, and sometimes they ask Emily's advice on and how to like get started in divorce, how to cope with life after divorce, and some other things that they maybe just rant about. Okay, so let's get into it. The first post is totally improvised, so we have a lot of plot twists here. So the first post is I got cheated on. I discovered my wife texting with her workmate, and he's my workmate too. And within a week of time, they lived together. Um, it really hurts. We haven't divorced yet, and she's so deep into the new guy. We three are working in the same school. It's torturing, and I'm leaving the school soon as I can't stand with the ridiculousness there. So
Wow.
how did this all? So he's kind of in the first step of
Yeah,
ending a marriage.
that's a tough place to be because it's the beginning, it's all fresh, it's really painful, and they're in the same workplace, which, means that this was a colleague or maybe even a friend. And then it just kind of double hurts because you're not only betrayed by your spouse, but also another person that you work with. So, so typically at the beginning, there's a lot of hurt and pain. But for the person who is having the affair, maybe she's all excited about it right now and it's all new and great. But when that newness wears off, she may then go through the grieving process of losing the marriage. So it's kind of an emotional roller coaster. I think it's probably smart that he's leaving the school because who wants to, be around that and have to have it in your face every day? Um, that's a tough situation. It's really tough. But I think that person's probably in one of the hardest stages right now because you still have the shock of it.
Well, it's good as a lot of the schools on Zoom. So, well,
That's
actually,
true.
that's weird now because like he's he's in quarantine. I assume in quarantine.
Well, yeah, that's hard. Then you got to quarantine with that person that is having an affair. That's tough.
No, so he's stuck. Okay, so on to the next post. This one is it says here childhood divorce. My mom is leaving my dad after 35 years of marriage. She just randomly changed about a year ago, and ever since she's been blaming him for their life choices over the years. Yesterday, my dad told me she said she doesn't love him anymore. He's devastated. I don't know what to do to help. I'm 25. We live in a house, and when my mom moves out, I'll be home alone with dad. He still loves my mom. He's a family man, and I've never seen him this terrified. He told me he doesn't know how he'll survive this, and I'm so lost in the situation.
That's tough. I do hear a lot like my mom or my spouse suddenly changed, like something changed in them. And, it could be a midlife crisis, it could be a psychological issue. It could be they were repressing their true thoughts for a long time and finally stopped. There's so many things it could be. I really think that, um, you know, having counseling or some type of like psychological evaluation so there can be closure for both people is really useful. The hard part is that you can't always get both people to agree to it. But if you can, I think it's really important because maybe to the person who changed, it didn't feel like a sudden change. Maybe they felt the change coming for a while. But to the person who didn't know about it, to them, it's like this shock out of nowhere. And it's very hard. And, they have to deal with this whole situation being so different when they weren't prepared for that. So having some type of counseling with the other person just to find closure, I think can be really useful.
Okay, next post, cohabitation laws in Illinois. So it's kind of far from us. We're in California, so let's see what we can do. Okay, so my ex, who I pay a hefty amount of maintenance to, has started a date and see someone which I'm totally cool with, and I wish my ex the best. However, every time I go over to my ex's, I see my ex's partner's car parked outside the house. I'd say the time of their relationship is about a year long. At at this point, I have a few questions that I need to have answered. Can I build a solid case that my ex is cohabiting with someone now and therefore drop my maintenance fees through an amendment to my judgment? And then number two, what does the law say on what qualifies as cohabitation? I know many people try to bypass the law by doing just what constitutes as this. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I can only speak to California, but in California, yes, there is actually a rebuttable presumption that if your ex is cohabitating, then they have less need for support. So you could definitely try to have it be lowered. As far as cohabitating, yeah, it's hard to define. I mean, the idea behind that presumption is that somebody else is helping take care of them, pay bills, offset expenses, and so their need for support isn't as high. So I think to be cohabitating for these purposes, the new partner would have to be contributing to the expenses of the household somehow, you know, helping pay utilities or rent or something.
Okay. Let's see. Solid time. We have one more post. I want to end on a good note here. So it's a good post. This one's a life after divorce one. It gets so much better. First off, I'll start with saying thank you to all the advice I get here. See, I was pretty confused and felt broken when I joined this community. Everyone who commented or reached out with kind words gave solid advice. It helped me to take a step back from what I thought was happy and meaningful. Doing so helped me examine my previous relationship from a different view. No love blinders, so I could see all the things I didn't before and was in complete denial about. I've started being more active, again, going to the gym daily and surrounding myself with positive vibes only. I feel liberated. I met someone I wasn't looking, who treats me in a way I've never experienced and makes me extremely happy. So I'm pretty excited to get to know her and even more and just be myself for the first time in a long time. Long story short, I just wanted to say to everyone who reads this, it gets better. It truly does. Life is way too short to put off finding yourself again and being truly happy. And I wonder what's like his playlist. Like he must have such a cool like playlist where he's always happy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I like that. I think that's great. Like, you know, it takes a while, but it's important to have a community, whether that's online or in person. And it does get better. Like, that is true. You'll move on, you'll find someone new, you'll find yourself again, you'll have, you know, your own life. You just have to get there, and that's the hard part. But I think it's important to do active work on yourself to push yourself there and make sure that you can come out on the other side, because you can. You just have to do it and you have to not give up.
Yeah, you know, it's weird. One of these like friends that came from New York because they had to come back home to California. Like it's like different. I guess in New York, like she was saying she could like because she was coming off relationship and she was like, I could find guys like everywhere in New York. Just I could date anywhere. Here in California, I guess you have to have an app. Like yeah, she's like yeah. So I don't know. I thought of that and
that
yeah,
is how people date here.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. We're like lazy here in California. We're like get on the app and I don't know. Sometimes I'm like I wish I was single again, but I don't know. I just
Don't tell your wife that.
No, we didn't. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, whatever. She's probably hearing.
Well, it is so much easier to date now than it was when we were single.
Yeah. So yeah, where was this? Like, where was this before when I was single? It's like
I know,
it was
right?
different. Yeah. So. All right, we got off topic here. We ended on a good note. This is like we're on the eve here. I don't know. Is it? I think there'll be a decision tomorrow. Is it tomorrow night? We're here on the west, so I think
To wait till our polls close.
well, I think Florida. I think if Florida, it's gonna say a lot. Like
Florida's gonna say a lot. Go vote. If you haven't
go vote.
voted, go vote.
Yeah. So drop off your ballots. Here in California,
Today.
I don't think it. Yeah, I think we're pretty set. It's a swing state. So Pennsylvania, Arizona, Florida, Georgia.
Go vote. We're not a swing state, but there are many, so they need to vote.
So yeah, so that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining the Life After D podcast, election edition. So Emily, do you have any like last things you wanna give us the updates to give us?
Go vote. Have an open mind. If you and your spouse aren't voting for the same stuff, don't let it lead to divorce. Talk it out, and just good luck. Don't be stressed as much as possible, and we'll reconvene when we know the results.
Next week we'll have a recap.
Yeah.
All right. So see everyone next week. Bye-bye.